Hi, tonight we're going to talk about self-actualization. Self-actualization is not the end of our problems because they are the opening for our soul to reveal an inner link with the spirit. The soul accepts waves from the physical world in the form of light and vibration, along with insights from the spirit. Our physical body and mind assemble our sense organs to put together perceptions from the material realm, while the spiritual world forms the channel to communicate intuitions. Self-actualization brings together both the body and the spirit by being open to revelations involving the higher dimensions as well as the sensations that deal with the lower elements of the body. The body, mind, and soul and spirit are in unity and can be expressed in our existence as our consciousness. Developing recognition of this unity enlarges and expands our consciousness so we can transcend the limits of our intellect. This process of increasing our abilities is self-actualization. Rumi said, "Let yourself be drawn by the stronger pull of that which you truly love." Abraham Maslow said, "In any given moment, we have two options: to step forward into growth or to step backward into safety." The first step to self-actualization is awareness, because to become happy and creative, we need to be self-aware and not to be able to process and change our thought process and emotions. From a spiritual perspective, we would call it detachment or being free from the restraints that keep us under control within limits. That means letting go of past memories, impressions and future desires. The bondage of time that weighs us down, but we are set free to enjoy the present. When we are not attached to time, we alter our consciousness to be in eternity, making way for a spiritual version or upgrade of ourself. When our consciousness is paying attention to the present moment, we are able to pick up lessons and the delight that is beyond the mind. We are able to experience bliss that is not dependent on events, possessions, or achievements, because it is always present and accessible as part of our consciousness, our being. The reason we don't experience it is because we are preoccupied with other things. A proverb says, "The body heals with play, the mind heals with laughter, and the spirit heals with joy." Rumi says, "When you do things from the soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy." Oscar Wilde said, "To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist." A shift in our point of view from the mind to the soul expands our consciousness, and in the same way, shifting from the soul to the mind and rigid thoughts can narrow our perspective. This shifting of the perspective to maximize the use of our abilities, Goldstein and Maslow called self-actualization. They thought of it as a total realization of creative, intellectual, and social potential through internal appeal and not through external money, power, or status. This path is eternal, so is individualized, but it creates brilliant content, cheerful individuals who are self-aware and can change their thought patterns by observing and understanding their own thought processes, called metacognition. This process involves observing thoughts, thinking about them, and using discipline to change responses that are harmful, internally and externally. This allows us to master our minds and become secure, calm, wise, and happy human beings. Because harmful thoughts are converted from unconscious thoughts and emotions to conscious, aware thoughts. Joseph Campbell said, "We must be willing to get rid of the life we've planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. The old skin has to be shed before the new one can come." Jesus described this too. He said, "And be not conformed by this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and accessible and perfect will of God." That's in Romans 12:2. We are aware and not the mind. So the mind is our tool and should be used that way. Many people think they are thoughts, so depression, fear, dread, and anxiety are common in society. Through mindfulness and going inward, we realize we are the observer of the mind. So become aware. We are consciousness. Self-actualization helps us rediscover our true self, our authentic self, by being aware while living life, being true to who we want to be. It does this by aligning us with our values, goals, and living life authentically, not rejecting life for conformity and being ordinary. Don't be frustrated. The fruit is the last thing developed on the tree, so we will realize it and then see it in everyone else. We are not our thoughts, so be free and observe them, because at that moment, a higher consciousness is activated. We suffer because our thoughts trigger emotional reactions, distracting us so we don't allow the thoughts to pass. Simple shifts in points of view expand our consciousness to new heights. In the same way, rigid thoughts narrow our mind so we can't be happy or high. This is the difference between fear and love, darkness and light. Osho said, "When you love a person, all fear disappears. And when you are afraid, all love disappears." Thank you.